Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Saturn Return Diaries podcast. My name is Courtney. If you're new here, you should go back and listen to all the old episodes. But if you're new here, we welcome you. I'm so excited that you're here. Obviously, we talk about astrology, but Saturn return stuff. That is the main theme here. And today I'm super excited because I'm talking to someone whom I love so much and who has impacted my journey a lot. And also probably helped me on my own Saturn return, like prep, and I didn't even know it at the time. So that's kind of funny. So I'm super excited to dive into this more. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you're on the podcast world, you can leave a review. That'd be really great. Love you for that. But without further ado, let's just get into this because that's why we're all here. So hi, Giulia.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I was like, my face hurts from smiling so much already. I'm like,
Yeah, just
ready to go. So excited.
If you guys are on YouTube right now watching, this is so cool because we were just talking about this before we hit record, but Julie is wearing her brand colors that are like very on point with her business, which I'm sure we'll talk about after, but also her rising sign. So we'll get into that and kind of talk about that more.
I love that information. I was like, I didn't even know that this color was associated with my rising sign. I'm learning here. So I'm loving this.
You're embodying who you are, and that's why we love astrology.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so do you want to tell us? I love asking people this question. Who are you as a person versus you can say the things you do, but who is Giulia?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can answer this one. My instinct right away was to say I am someone who, I think, but also have received this feedback, is very loving, kind, very caring. I love the people in my life so much, and everyone feels like family to me. And I think first and foremost, I'm just someone that cares so deeply about others and supporting them and seeing them grow. And that has founded the essence of what I do in my life for work and who I am as, a leader in different ways and a teacher, and how I support my friends and how I show up to be with my friends and everybody. I think that's a constant that I'm proud of.
So beautiful. I love that so much. Okay, and so now what do you do? What are the facets of you?
What are the facets of me? So yeah, there are many. I'm a multi-passionate person, and does a disclaimer initially when you'll hear the rest of the story about my career, but I always thought it was wrong to have multiple jobs or to have multiple interests, because we get taught just stick to one thing and that's your purpose. And I've learned over time that it's so cool and so amazing to be able to do many things at once. So part of what I do is I support women with body image and confidence and self-worth. And I support those that are struggling in relationships with their, with food and with their weight and body image. I support them to have a loving relationship with themselves, a peaceful relationship with food, and to overcome those struggles. Having gone through that myself, that was something that I always felt really passionate about making a difference in the world. And then I also, as Cord obviously knows, having been through this, am a Reiki master and teacher, and lead the Luminary School of Healing with my best friend Lex. So I get to do a lot of cool things day to day, and I feel really lucky that I get to have multi-passionate things going on.
Oh my God, love. I'm like, yes to the multi-passionate. I cannot just do one thing.
Right?
What's your human design? Do you know?
Oh, yes. Damn it. I did go through this and I'm like, what am I? I think, can you give me the names of them?
Yeah, there's manifesting generator, manifester, generator, reflector, and projector. Projector, yeah.
I'm someone that executes. I'm like I forget the name of it. We'll come back.
Okay,
I'll look
well,
it up
we can just link it.
come back, because I don't remember off the top of my head. I have to look it up. But
Yeah.
I did this year, so I should know this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, I love it so much. I think that even just obviously we profile people in these cool ways nowadays, but it's so fun to be like, think of it, like, who are we, like, who do we want to be, and to change and have different passions is so cool. Also wanted to say shout out to Lex. We just talked about you, so I need to say hello if you're listening. And eventually she will come on the podcast too. So yeah, super excited to chat more with you. I want to know now, this is my favorite type of profiling of the peeps. So sun, moon, rising, what are they? Do you know? If not, I have them.
Oh, I love this. Sun Taurus. I was like, I paused for 10 minutes to figure out what the rest of them. No, Sun Taurus, Moon in Virgo, Aries rising. Right?
Yes, that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We love
Yeah.
it. You have so much earth in your chart too, which is
I
so
do. I do. I guess I'm very earthy. I don't know. I guess I have become quite a grounded person over time, but I didn't used to initially agree with that, but I
Mm.
do now.
Okay, cool. That actually leads me to asking then, like, what about your signs do you relate with, if anything, or if not, you can add that too.
Yeah, I think okay, so a couple things. I relate to a lot of it, but I also don't like to stick people in a bucket where, I relate to this a lot with dating where you meet someone and you're like, oh, they're a Leo. And so immediately you look up the compatibility. And what happens if you fall into that whole story that, okay, a Taurus, let's say, and a Leo are this type of compatibility, or a Taurus and a Scorpio are this. And it's not good. Like I've dated people where it says the compatibility is not good, but then our relationship is really good. And I think sometimes we can fall too much into these little buckets and then we let that determine kind of the course of our life. And that's the part that I have resistance to.
Mhm.
But in terms of my own, I do really relate to a lot of the things it says. Like I know that, as someone who's a Taurus and an earth sign, I am very grounded. It says I'm a very loyal and caring person. Those are all very true. I do really, I mean, it says that I care a lot about like the finer things in life and materialistic things. And I mean, I have an eye for that stuff, but it's not like my most important thing. I relate to some of the qualities more than other. Like I feel that I am very determined and strong-willed, and when I want something and I go after it, I can get it. Like there's a lot of things in there that I can appreciate, and some also that I'm like, take it or leave it. Um, yeah, and then I don't know, like for the moon in Virgo, it says that I'm someone who prefers to listen to their head and not their heart. I'm like, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I completely align with that. But I do agree that I only make decisions after really thinking about it for a long time. So there's that too.
Yeah. What
Um,
about your rising? Because that's actually like, there's so much here we could talk about, but your rising is like, a lot of how we kind of present ourselves to the world, right? Like that's how other people see us. So what do you feel like on that? Aries too, like first one, that's leadership.
Yeah, I guess I do that. The qualities there definitely align with me more, and the assertiveness and stuff like that with Aries for sure. I think that I do align with that for sure. But
Yeah.
tell me more. What else do you see in
I
the air?
love it.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts because you know me and you know the charts better than me. Tell me what you picked
Okay.
out as being like
Let's
for yours.
yeah, let's just unpack. I'm gonna do we should do okay. Everyone wants to do compatibility astrology and it will come, people. Okay. I'm diving more into this, but it's so important what you said, like actually debunking that whole, like, we look up compatibility and it's this and this. And I do this too. Like, I'm not saying I don't, but there's so much to people's charts and energies, and we are constantly changing and evolving and growing. So at different points in our life, we might feel more attracted to certain energy than others. That's like, you know, how it is. So I'm glad you brought that up. Second thing, what I would say is that knowing you and like who you are, it's this like Aries quality is so very you. Like it's beautiful in a sense because it's like, let's go, like you lighten things up, like you get things going. It's like very being in a room with someone like that can really be like a firecracker, like let's go. But you also have this like very grounded, gentle nature to you that is very supportive, which is why I feel like, obviously having that earth element is so cool because it allows you to hold space for people and their transformation. And Virgo is the ultimate like service healer. Like they're here to help people
Oh,
heal.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's
And
like a, yeah.
I was going to say one more thing. And Taurus is like, anytime I tell people this, but with Taurus, it's like, that to me is like Mama Earth, like the healer. Like when I feel like Reiki, I'm like, this is Taurus energy for sure.
Cool. I love that. That makes so much sense. I pictured a little triangle of them all connecting, and that does feel a lot like me when you put them all together. And I think most people, when they look into astrology, we just look at our sun signs. We aren't really taught how to read a chart or what it really means. And I
Mhm.
mean, you can go on Cafe Astrology and read through the 15 pages, but I think it's really easy to make, a kind of a snap judgment about yourself and your chart and others. And, there's a lot more to it.
There's so much. Yeah, it's so true. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. Courtney's here to teach
Love it.
y'all. Yeah.
There
um,
you go. Hashtag book a call.
yeah. Hashtag book a call. Love that. Anyway, so let's hear about your Saturn return. So we're gonna dive into this a little bit. I'm gonna kind of backpedal into your life.
Love
So,
it.
let's just prepare for this. And we're going to start with going back to when you were around the age of 26, 27. But before we go there, I want everyone to know your Saturn placement. So, do you know yours or no? If not, I can.
Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Okay, this is where I come
I
in.
have studied more. Like, should I
Yeah.
have learned more about this?
No, some people know and some people don't. But you actually have your Saturn in Capricorn and it's at 2 degrees. So this basically means that your Saturn would be at an earlier degree, which means that you're feeling the energy closer to the beginning of when that sign transitioned into Saturn. So, everyone who was born with Saturn and Capricorn, you just finished your Saturn returns. And I've talked about this before, but that officially ended at the end of 2020. So, for you, this would have kind of been building around 2017. That's when your progressed moon 2016 era was happening. And then it kind of started going like, okay, we're prepping you for this time in life.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, what was going on for you around the age of 26, 27? Yeah, take us.
I was like, I was joking to you, but I'm not. That I said, honestly, we should go through my iPhone and just get a quick snapshot of what I was doing in that year. But okay, so I had just, this is so crazy because I just literally pulled open my phone to 2016 because I needed a refresher. And I
Yeah.
know immediately that I had just moved into my first apartment on my own. So that was a huge step. I had also, well, later, I think in 2017 is when I officially left my 8.5 year job at Lululemon, which was a huge, huge part of this whole journey. And I had also, I mean, I was still in 2016 teaching as a fitness instructor, but I left that job back in 2017, I believe. And that was also a big shift in my life. And in addition to this, if possible, to throw in one more thing, I'd also left a really painful relationship that was with someone who was a narcissist. So that was a really challenging thing as well. So there was a lot of shifts in the relationship department, home life, career. Like it was like throw everything in there at once kind of thing.
Yeah. The Saturn return cocktail, I like to call that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Blend it up. Yeah.
Yeah. At least 4 shots in that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we might need to unpack that a little bit. So first I'm actually gonna pull up your chart. People can't see this. I would never show them like this on here. But so your moon in Virgo, when you were having a progressed moon transit, I pulled this up for around 2015 is when this actually started. So
Oh.
for people who I've done a episode on this, I believe, but the progressed moon sets us up. So Julia's moon is in Virgo. And when it was in your progressed placement, it stayed there for 2.5 years. And it was in the fifth house. Fifth house has to do with love, has to do with romance, has to do with finding our voice, our creative expression. So you had this transit from 2015, basically leading into 2017, moving through those areas of life, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know if that relates to the time of when you were in a relationship or kind of what was coming up then. But yeah, how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, whew, a lot happened in that period. So 2015-ish is when you said this was all kind of going down. Yeah. So I had in 2015, like summertime, ended that relationship that was unhealthy, but it still weighed so heavily on me for a long, long time.
Mm,
And so I would say I was still very much healing from that and doing the usual trying to get out there and move on and get back into the dating scene, but feeling like this negative cloud just cascaded over me. And interestingly enough, that is what led me into Reiki because I felt like I needed some other form of healing to help me really separate from that energy and that I didn't feel it was cognitive. Like I didn't feel like it was something I could talk out and read in like the usual ways, which I had already tried. So that was really what brought me back into my spiritual self and my connection with, yeah, energy healing. Yeah.
So, okay, how old were you when you found Reiki?
Okay. So 2015, I'm like, let's do the quick math here.
You're good at math.
I mean, I'm 33 now, so
I'm
6
gonna,
years, I guess.
okay, so 6 years ago.
Does that make sense? 27? Probably a little bit earlier than that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Probably right in there. 26, 27. Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so that's when you started Reiki and you were going as like um a client, like you
Yep.
weren't, yeah, okay.
You got it. Yeah.
Wow. And so is that kind of, would you say that was a big starting point to your healing or just a deeper level of healing?
Deeper level because I had already been in therapy and different things for most of my adult life, but healing in this way was very new for me and really bridged that gap for me that I was looking for and really connected me to spirituality. I had kind of, I don't know, like just never really felt that deeply connected to spirituality for many years. I guess it was really closeted or something.
Mm. Ooh, I'm so glad that you brought that up because there seems to be a correlation of, whether you want to call it spirituality or opening up to something greater than what is just right in front of us. This
Exactly.
seems, yeah, this seems to be a theme of Saturn return. So, I guess, yeah, let's go back there. So you're on the journey of, now going to Reiki and what happens from there?
So I started, this was big too. Reiki allowed me to, in those sessions, I felt so connected to my younger self, my inner child, a concept that I never really was introduced to or understood. And it was so organic and it wasn't even something my healer really talked about. I just experienced it kind of on my own in the sessions.
Mhm.
And from continuing to go to Reiki and receiving that healing and being in that vibration, something really cool happened where I was able to heal my relationship with my mom, who I had so much resentment towards, having grown up in an alcoholic home. And that was such a breaking point. We had this breaking point, like a huge argument in the summer. I feel like it would have been around the same year. And I just experienced so much healing from Reiki with her, where it wasn't even anything that she had to do specifically. I just received the healing to let go of the old baggage that was preventing me from being in a loving and healthy relationship with her. And that was one of the greatest gifts I've ever received, which was incredible. So that was a big part of the Reiki healing journey as well. Um, yeah, so that was a big thing.
That's so beautiful. I feel like that inner child piece is also so like so intertwined. All of this it's so wild because obviously, as we're growing and evolving and changing as human beings and kind of getting ready to enter that 30-year-old phase of life, you're becoming someone new essentially, or just becoming more of who you've been. And so part of the Saturn return placements and planets moving and evolving is about almost shedding the layers and deconditioning what you've been told. So that inner child piece, whoa, like, yeah,
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
that's so wild. Okay, and so then what's going on with the career at this point? Like, you're healing and you're doing all this stuff. So internally you're changing. What's happening externally?
So externally, I was working at Lululemon, and that's where I'd been for, as I was saying, like 8.5 years. So so long, such a big part of my life, and was in a position that I thought was that next step for me and wanting to take on more of a leadership role. But I felt this internal disconnect between what I thought I wanted to be doing for work and what I actually knew that I was passionate about. And I believe that that feeling was there for many years, but I didn't really listen to it. I felt really scared of the reality that thinking about quitting my safe job and doing something on my own, that felt fucking terrifying. And so I think Reiki really, I was going to coaching school at the time too while I worked there. So I was kind of like moving in the direction, but definitely not in any place to really consider it seriously. And then I think the Reiki healing really helped me to connect to myself in that beautiful spiritual way where I actually started listening to my intuition and I actually started connecting to it. And I actually started to feel this deep sense of trust that hearing from that inner voice, that what my purpose and passion actually was, and trusting that if I actually listen to this voice, I know that I'm being guided by something greater than myself and I will be supported in the best way possible. And I don't have to have all the answers, but if I listen to this and keep trusting it, I think I'll be led in the right direction. And so from continuing on that spiritual journey and that healing path, I gained the courage and the connection to my intuition and my highest self to be able to actually eventually pull the trigger and leave my corporate job, not knowing shit all about how to run a business or even anything about it, and just took that leap. And that was, yeah, that's what happened within that later that year.
Like, yeah, and that is what happened. It's like so interesting, and I'm very curious if, like, well, you kind of said Reiki has something to do with that, but um yeah, it's so interesting to me how all of these things can happen during such a potent time, right? Because you're like, I don't know, how are you feeling during all of this? Like, you're doing Reiki, but like, how are you feeling?
Oh, so tormented. It was really, really tough. I felt such a disconnect, like this tug of war between what I thought I should quote unquote be doing and then what I actually wanted to be doing. And the should was like, well, this is the safer option. This is the option my parents are more comfortable with. This is where I feel there's more defined success and less uncertainty, but I felt so unhappy and miserable with my day-to-day life that I knew something had to change. And that's where I just kept leaning more towards that inner voice, the voice that I believe is my highest self. And I kept creating more space for that voice and trusting it. And then it just became so loud, that what was once a whisper was then like a tsunami, and I had to listen to it and I had to follow that guidance because I knew my mental health, frankly, was not doing well being in the environment that I was in. And I was like, well, something has to change. And this voice is leading me here. So what do I have to lose? I don't have kids. I don't have a partner. I don't have any real responsibilities. This is the time. This is the time to take a risk.
This is the time to take a risk. That is like another Saturn slogan. We need to blow that up. That is so
Yeah.
good. Wow. So I mean, I kind of know this, but like, what do you feel like having with Reiki? Because personally, I see a lot of people within like your community and now friends. who've done this and have had major career changes. So do you believe
Oh,
that Reiki, like, tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. I mean, I do really believe that when you are able to, whether it's Reiki or whatever spiritual vehicle or practice that you're in, I think Reiki is so beautiful in that not only do you create the space to listen to that voice in your highest self, but you also have the tools to really start healing the layers that are preventing you from fully listening and acting on that higher self. So I really do see the connection with Reiki and supporting people to be their most authentic selves, which is like free of all the conditioning and fear and bullshit that we learn throughout our lifetimes. And the amount of our students and clients that have taken these huge steps, like leaving big careers, ending relationships that are toxic that they never had the courage to do, moving to another country, like to your point, a lot of the steps are huge. Like they're no like small things, right? So I definitely see a common thread with that. And I do think it is being in that frequency. It's such a high vibration energy that anything that isn't in alignment with you and your truth tends to fall away. And you receive the steps and guidance to make that happen. Like the energy, I truly believe, supports you in making that happen. And yeah, Reiki seems to be the common thread for us all.
Okay, so just to like selfishly put my little story in here, this is so wild because obviously I'm going through my Saturn return. And the first Reiki level one I did, people, you're not going to believe this, was March 6th or 7th, 2020, which was right before the world shut down. And that was right before my Saturn return. It was like the lead up to my exact Saturn return, which is so wild.
That is so wild. Oh my goodness. I literally wrote that down. I was like, I want to go back and revisit that
Yeah,
time.
definitely. Like it's so crazy. But just to go back to this, so I want to just I'm going to tell a little bit more about Giulia's chart. So I pulled up transits for around 2018. So around the time of your birthday, seeing as you're a Taurus, April birthday, you've got Saturn moving over top of your own Saturn at this time. So it's conjunct. And yeah, this was April 2018. So this is like when you're in it, like in the thick of it during this time. And the other thing I'll say is that what's really cool about Giulia's chart is that her MC line, which for those of you who don't know what that is, this is kind of like a purpose legacy line. And then Uranus is conjuncted in her chart, which is also conjunct Saturn. And those are very close knit planets working together to create something new. And because Uranus is this like revolutionary planet, it's here to do things in a new way. And she has this in the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house. This tells me this has to do with changing a career structure or system that is in alignment with your purpose or legacy of what you're here to leave in this lifetime. So all of that being said, having it in your 10th house, this is like big career change and life change. So do you want to dive more into that, like what it's been like or what was happening around that 2018 mark of your career?
Oh my gosh, perfect timing. So 2018, yeah. So I just turned, oh my God, I'm like, why is my math so terrible? We're in 2021 and you said 2018. So let's backtrack. How old was I? Got it. Okay, so back around that time, simple math is not my strength, just putting it out there. Anyway,
You're not alone. Yeah.
we're at home here.
Yeah.
Say it's safe to talk about poor math skills. Okay, so around 2018, a lot happened. So as I mentioned, I did quit my job at Lululemon, but I started working. I first took a sabbatical, so I wasn't really actually working, and then I started working full time as a fitness instructor, and that went on for like a year and a half. So around 2018 is when I injured myself teaching. I was still really struggling with my relationship with my body and food. And all of this got the better of me, where I ended up getting really sick with what we know to be adrenal fatigue and different things like that, and experienced another huge episode of, yeah, just really facing all the struggles that I had with my body, with what it meant to be a fitness instructor, and feel like I was constantly comparing myself to those around me in that way. And I ended up leaving that career because I was so unhappy ultimately with how much pressure I felt internally, and was struggling with those issues.
Mm.
So that was a really big move for me, because in many ways I I was there to face a lot of the struggles that I thought I'd healed, which I hadn't fully. Clearly, number one, I left a career that I actually really loved. So I loved teaching fitness, but I realized it wasn't healthy for me. So I had to say no to that. And then I also had to face the fact that my body had changed a lot from the health struggles I was experiencing. And that was a big shift in my identity and who I thought I was, because I attached a lot of worth and meaning to my body. And coming off of being a fitness instructor and looking a certain way and having that all change very fast, it was like the universe really sent me this whole event to help me heal through all of that. So career wise, yeah, it propelled me fully on the direction of 100% investing my time and energy into Brazen. And that was really scary, because it was like, I got no foundation here, man. Like, you're going full in, and we've tried the other route and it's not working. So here you go. So that's when I fully had nothing else going on except me trying to make my business happen, as I said, with little to no business education or skills other than my passion for what I love to do, and figuring it out along the way. So yeah.
I just love that. Like, love that, especially how you're saying, like, no business education.
Nothing.
You just followed your intuition essentially
I
and
followed
figured it
my
out.
intuition. Yes. And this is where it's like, I mean, there are countless people out there questioning whether they can leave their jobs, and because they don't have this skill, they haven't gone to school for this, they don't have any education here. It's like, you don't need any of that. If I truly believe, if you are passionate about what you do, it lights you up, it brings you into more joy, and you're living into that vibration, you will attract more and more of that abundance. And, you know, if it's worth anything to anyone, like, I'm making more money than I made at my career of 8.5 years. That was like my biggest fear of not wanting to leave that job. Right. So it's so possible for you. You just have to really lean into that belief that you can, and listen to that voice of your highest self. And I will say, before we move on, that in that same struggle, because of how low I was and how deep the struggle was in that period of my Saturn return, which I truly didn't know I was going to get out of, meaning the struggle I had with my body and how it was changing. Like, I had a lot of deep issues with like physical symptoms. I had insomnia. I was experiencing depression again, terrible anxiety. I believe it was all interrelated to my career and making those changes. And I know probably for many people out there going through their Saturn return, and I know you've gone through this too, like, you hit those really low points where you just don't even know what to do. You don't even know how to move forward. You doubt a lot of things. But that period was so essential for my evolution, where now so much of what I'm able to help people with, it has been informed by those low points. It's like it was a precursor and a key event, where if I didn't go through that, I would 100% not be in the career path that I am right now. And so hopefully that's helpful for people to hear out there, is that you got to trust your struggles, and you got to trust the depths of that despair, because it can feel really dark and really lonely and isolating, and like you're never going to get through it. But I always believe it's like the magic that you need to be able to then propel yourself forward in the direction that you're meant to go, right? Like, a lot of abundance comes from our suffering, just saying.
Mm, I love all of that so much. It's so helpful because, yeah, it is really dark. Like, the amount of it can be very dark. I don't wanna say it is for everyone,
Yeah.
but I think you're right that there are those, like, pitfalls of, like, that feel like they can really, really suck you in and suck you dry. And I love the way that you said that, like, there's abundance that can come from those times. So, it kind of goes into, like, too, I was gonna say, what advice would you give to people who are going through it? But I think you did a really good job of, that, but what would you have said to yourself? Like, if you could look at that Giulia, now, like, what would you say to her?
I would say I am so inspired by your passion and your drive and with your vision of how you want to support people in the world, and keep leaning into that, because that's the fire you need to make it all happen. And you're going to experience moments of doubting yourself like any normal human being will in this journey of trying something new, but that inner fire and that vision and that passion is going to lead you to the abundance that you're looking for. And that's what I would say to everyone. Like, you've got to tune into that why and that passion and that trust. And that will burn through any of the doubt on any given day if you can really spend time sitting in there and trusting yourself and connecting to your highest self in that way. Like, you're going to get there. It's just inevitable.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. You are like, this is like Capricorn, just like, yeah, like you're gonna get to the top of the mountain. You just need to keep going.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I love it so much, especially too because Saturn has a lot to do with karma as well. So as much as it is our teacher and what we're here to kind of work through in our life, it's also about karma. So as you're saying, like, when you tune into your why, when you look at your vision, when you have this idea, when you keep going with it and you don't give up on yourself, there's something waiting on the other side. Like, you literally just said that. And that is what Saturn does. Saturn is our, I call him Big Daddy Saturn. He just waits. He's like, no, did you do your chores? Like, did you do this? Like, if you did, then here's what you get if you're putting in your work and you're learning your lessons. So, which is cool. And I think that's what we find hard to know or remember when we're in it.
Totally, totally.
So yeah, what do you feel like, I guess kind of leading into that, what do you feel like any of this karma has been that's come through, whether that be, you did say you make more now, but I'm sure there's other things that have kind of come to you from that time.
Oh, I would say without hesitation, like, I'm more abundant in all ways in my life than ever before. And I mean, I'm more authentically joyful and grateful, and more happy in all ways. Like, it's truly not just about the money, although that's a nice part of it. It's like, I mean, I'm so grateful and fortunate to live in a beautiful home, and to have the amazing friends that I do. Like, I felt like I lived in so much darkness in that time. There was just such a cloud around me. And now I look at my life, I'm like, how lucky am I that this is the life that I lead? And I just feel like there's so much high frequency energy that surrounds me. And it's not like, oh, I'm just so lucky, like it just happened this way. I worked really hard to make this a reality, right? Like, it's been a journey, to say the least, but you can just see what happens and how the universe, I don't know if like rewards you is the right word, but just brings you what you really deserve when you're spending so much time working at clearing those doubts and doing your healing work. It really just
Mm.
gives you what you're ready for. And there's not a lot that we're ready for when we're sitting in a lot of that cloudy energy. And again, I totally get that a lot of people's Saturn returns are not always, like gloomy. I for sure feel like that's the truth. Mine happened to be, but in a very positive way, like a very empowering gloomy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Empowered gloomy. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Yeah, I've asked a few people, like, what word would you use to describe that time? Like, I don't know if you have one, but I really like what you just said.
Well, truly, like, dark, gloomy, but life altering. It changed the course of my life. It truly did, for the best. I would never, if that hadn't happened, I don't even want to know what life I would have been leading, because there was so much gloom. And now it's like, I feel like the light, like the sun. I feel like I live in this sunny energy all the time.
Yeah. And look at it. If you're on YouTube, she's got
It
this,
is.
it's just glistening you like a
The
goddess.
the
Yeah.
sun just really did come in appropriately through the clouds for this moment. So thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, sun gods. More, please. We love it.
We
Um,
love it.
Yeah, it's so true. And I do get a lot of DMs a lot of the time of people being like who are coming up to their Saturn returns or who are in it right now and they're like, what does this mean? Like I'm actually scared because the internet loves to hype things up as we're all aware at this point. And so it's so great to hear everyone's experience because not only did you say that, yes, there was darkness, but there was also a light that was birthed from this. And you're 33 now. And people like, I don't know if my mom even listens to these, but it's so funny because I've always said, like, I just want to be 33. Like, just get me there, get me out of this. And the fact is, you can't just skip by. You would miss all of these like lessons and stuff that we're talking about now. So yeah, I think
Also the material for each of your future novels and life stories and material on YouTube. I tell everybody this, like clients, students, whoever, friends, it's like every moment of these challenges is exactly what you're meant to go through to offer back to the world and to get to the other side. Like we truly cannot expand and
mm,
elevate our frequency and vibration without contracting. That's just how it works. It doesn't mean it's like you're sitting in this terrible like torrential storm every time, but yeah, there's going to be these moments of it feeling crunchy and you're going to
mm.
expand and keep ascending from there. So it's like I wouldn't trade it for the world, even though it wasn't easy by far.
Yeah, I feel like this episode is perfectly timed, as always, divine timing. But just with like the way that the world is going, there's a lot of people who are resigning from their jobs for various reasons. There's just so much happening, and there's a lot of contraction. There's, you know, so much of it that can feel like that, and remembering that like it's not going to be like this forever. It won't always be like this. Things will change. Things will, there has to be light. The sun comes out, even on a cloudy day. I think that's a song.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so I love that we're talking about this now. I really, really do.
I love it too. And it's so, if you look at any of the events that have been terrible over the last year and a half in our pandemic lives, what there's been a lot of positive things that have come out of those really awful periods, and
Yeah.
sometimes it is necessary to create change. And here we are going through more of this crunchy stuff that is upsetting for most of us. And I have no doubt that it's going to create really empowering, life altering changes for the world for the better.
Yeah. I love this crunchy.
Oh yeah, a crunchy. Like you could,
Or
I don't know. I don't know
crunchy
where
life.
crunchy life. Some people love the crunchy. I do like a crunchy peanut butter, but you know what I mean?
I was gonna ask, are you smooth or
Crunchy.
crunchy peanut?
No, I'm crunchy, but you know what I mean? Maybe that's because my tolerance for crunch is a little higher than most. I don't
So currently I'm smooth,
know.
but maybe after my Saturn return, it's gonna be crunch.
Exactly. And you know what? I actually thought about this on kind of related, but when we were talking about pizza, I was like, there should be some kind of astrology for pizza toppings, right? Like, oh, my favorite is pepperoni and this. What does that mean about you? Like, I feel like as though there's a reading for your choice of pizza toppings that I want to send over to
Um,
you as an idea.
so perhaps we should like make this some sort of an event, collaborate on this.
Yeah. What's your topping?
Yeah, what's your topping? What's your favorite? And then we'll get that pizza. So actually, for those of you, this is what we're talking about. Last night I commented on Giulia's post and it was about pizza. Well, more than just pizza, but there was pizza in the post. And she said, "What's your like favorite place to go to in the city?" And I said, "Virtuous Pie," because that's the last place I had ever had pizza. So now I want to ask you, what's your favorite pizza place?
Okay, so if I'm going for like cheap and dirty, it's
Ooh.
Panago because that's like the drunk pizza I used to get in university. And you can get actually I got something called 4 for 20. So a large pizza was $5 and you got you got dipping sauce. I was a bit of a ham in university. Anyway, but now today with my more refined palate, if I've had a few cocktails, then yeah, it would be a Panago special with all the dipping sauces or I mean, AJ's and East Van is really quality
Oh,
as
I've
well.
never tried that.
Very good. I
Okay.
like a meat full pizza. Sorry, vegetarians. Yeah,
Pack it on. I see.
give me
Yeah,
the meat.
I love it. I've actually never had Panago because I don't know why, but we don't have it in Ontario.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe I need to try that. That'll be my
Yeah.
next adventure.
Send
Um,
it. Have a pizza night.
with my ordering the pizza or the popcorn from the movie theaters in
That was
Canada.
amazing. That was outstanding. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's 10/10 recommend doing that. Um, Anywho, so yeah, it's, all of this stuff is just so great to hear and walk through. I actually wanted to ask you this though.
Mm.
When did you and Lex start like your business together? Because that would have been both of your Saturn returns.
Same time. I think it was 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was also, interestingly enough, it was also without hesitation. There's something about, well, I believe, something about your Saturn return when you're experiencing these life altering shifts where a part of you just has such a keen knowing, like such a trust that this is the right path. Lex and I started our preliminary school of healing, and it was I don't want to say it was easy because we faced a lot of our own challenges just in our relationship and different things as you do working with a best friend or partner or whoever, but it the underlying like we're going to do this never changed. There was never a like, oh, I don't know if this is right for us or should we do this. We just moved forward, and it was like we were led the whole time. And then the healing that has come from being like creating this school and following that part of our Saturn return has been infinite. So it's,
Mm.
yeah, this is where I say it's just you really trust that voice, and you're led into so much abundance in countless ways from, yeah, these elements of our Saturn return.
Mm. Oh, I love that. I love it so much. Yeah, I can't wait to hear Lex's too and see how they kind of correlate together because you two are soulmates. And it's clear
Mm.
to see to so many of us. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm so incredible. And so by the way, people, if you want to get your like Reiki level 1 and 2 or masters, which I have not gotten yet, but will, um,
Soon enough.
yeah, it'll yeah, you can I'll keep all the links below, but couldn't recommend enough. Like it changed my life on so many different levels. So levels, level 1 and 2.
Oh my gosh. And then that also cued Avicii in my head, Avicii
Yeah,
models.
the best. Yeah, we were talking about Avicii before we hopped on here. So yeah, love it. Cool. All right. Well, actually, I want to ask one more fun thing before
Yeah,
we hop
please.
off. I love people have been really liking when I ask really random astrology questions to people or like how it correlates. And the one that popped into my head for you was, when is your beautiful doggy's birthday? Do you know?
Okay, so he's a rescue, and when I got him, oh my God, his birthday is tomorrow. But like not actually. Okay, so his pickup date when I got him was tomorrow, a year ago. So I've had him for a year tomorrow. So I better take a nice photo of him for everyone to
Yes,
see.
that's just
But I don't know his actual birthday because it's all an estimate. They said when I picked him up, he was 2.5 years old last year. So now he'll be 3.5. And so that means that I guess his birthday would be whatever 6 months minus September
so
is.
much math in this episode.
I know. I'm like, I hate simple math. It gives me anxiety. Okay, so August, July, June, May, April, March. So maybe he's born in like a March.
Okay. Well, could
This
he?
is not, he's rescued, so we don't really know.
Yeah, we're gonna set his birthday as tomorrow because that's like we'll just say he's like a little Virgo doggy. Um, but if you're celebrating him tomorrow for the fact that you picked him up, then that's Virgo, which is this like service dog, essentially. Like,
Oh, he is a service dog.
yeah. I wanted to ask that because I was like, I wonder what like this partnership between the two of you are like, because I love following and watching online on Instagram. But this is also like a little being from your Saturn return who came into your life.
Yeah, he is. Oh my gosh. And that, yeah. I mean, that's another thing where, your parents tell you one thing, like never get a dog and it's too much work. And I listened to that old conditioning for so long. And then I just intuitively knew I want a dog. I've always wanted a dog. I trust this. And then like a story for another time, but the way that I actually got him was so crazy how it worked out and so meant to be. And he is truly this little service dog. He's brought so much healing into my parents' lives, and his best friend is Lex's dog, and they have a great time together. And he's brought so much healing into my life. I mean, animals, I can't say enough. I can't say enough. So I don't know if that answered your question. I feel like at this point I'm circling, but
Oh, we love it. We want to talk. What is your dog's name?
Gibson.
Gibson. Yeah, we like Gibson.
I
He's
don't know where he is.
yeah.
Gibby. Oh, he's dead. Come here. Come.
Oh, come say hi.
He's coming. He's coming. Come on, good boy. Come here. Oh, he's doing his stretch. When they get out of bed, they always stretch. Come here.
Right. He's like, I
Good
gotta
boy.
prepare for this. I gotta get. Hi! Oh my goodness! Hi, Gibson. Hi, Gibson. Oh my God, love this so much. He's so cute.
So
Oh,
cute. He's such a good boy.
he's
Such a
so
good
sweet.
boy.
So sweet. All right. Well, on that note, we will wrap it up here. Thank you so much for
Oh my
sharing
gosh.
your
Thank you so much.
story. I like to kind of end with a little like, I guess, do you have any announcements? Is there anything going on in your life?
Announcements
Yeah.
other than rescue a dog if you'd like, because it's a great thing to do and very fulfilling.
Mhm.
What else? Announcements. So the ritual, I don't know if this is going live, but the ritual will be coming up on September 21st, which is a Tuesday at 5 p.m. That's our full moon party, healing, Reiki, all good things to empower you. And so check that out if you're interested. That'll be in my bio and Instagram. And then, if you're a person out there who is struggling with your body or your relationship with food and you want a natural way to come back into your power and confidence, I've got a lot of free YouTube videos you can check out, or you can call me anytime because I'd love to support you. And all of our Reiki classes are starting back up this fall. So we have level 1 coming up, the master class coming up. Level 2 will be in October. So if you're feeling excited or inclined to learn more about that, you can head over to the Luminaries Instagram or our website, luminarieshealing.com.
Yeah, I'll link
And
everything below.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, I don't need to. Yeah.
Yeah. I got it. Don't worry.
So, yeah.
Save your breath. I'll do it. Yeah.
I was like, a lot to say, a lot to say.
Yeah. But also I just recommend like, I don't know, just following along with your journey on Instagram. It's always super fun. And come to the ritual, people. Like you're missing out if you don't come.
That's how we met. That's how our whole journey began. This is full circle.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on the podcast world, you'll probably already have heard this, but Julie and I met through I was like this is a huge part of my Saturn return journey. So, that's how we met. It's wild. I
More healing.
never looked back. Came every time.
Oh, you deserve an award, truly. I should make a trophy for you. I'm gonna look on Etsy later, just see what I can do.
Ritual.
A plaque.
Oh my God, that would be so classic. I would love that. But also no pressure.
Oh my God. Also under pressure, but really want it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Like I said at the beginning, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you are not yet. And head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review. It just helps with the reach. And we will see you I will see you in the next episode. So thanks everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.